Hey you guys, so I'm making this video because I am officially in the DEP, which is the Delayed Entry Program. I signed my contract yesterday and what a freaking day it was. Obviously I'm so happy because it's been a long time coming, 8 months. It took me from when I first spoke to a recruiter, then another recruiter, then another recruiter, until now to signing my contract. I just went to MEPS to sign my contract, nothing else. I already did my physical, I already did everything else, and I went through the whole hotel process again. I stayed in the hotel the night before, woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, went straight to MEPS. I got to MEPS at 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, there were 70 shippers that day, and I was like, okay, so I mean, I was not expecting to stay at MEPS the amount of time that I did, but I did anyway because I guess processing shippers takes a while, which I did not know. At least I know what it's like when I ship out and the process it takes, because you will be at MEPS for a while before you actually leave and go to the airport. But yeah, I got there at 6 and I stayed in a chair in the waiting room for 7 hours straight before they called my name. I even had like the lunch that they serve, which is like a sandwich, and went back to the same seat and waited. Yeah, they didn't call my name until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I mean I had the clock right next to me in the waiting room, so I was just kind of like looking, and like 1 hour down, 2 hours down, 3 hours down. We watched 4 movies, 2 of which we watched twice. It was freaking crazy. I have not waited that long for anything in my entire life. I don't even sit at work for that amount of time. I'm always like up and walking around, and yeah, that was just the craziest part of my MEPS experience, going to sign my contract. So yeah, I just went there to sign my contract. Once they called my name, I went in there, and they honestly don't even go over what's written in the contract. They're just like, look, you're gonna sign for this, this, and that. It's gonna be 5 pages. You just have to sign electronically. And I just sign, and they said it was an FBI background investigation. It was just like the release, but it was like 5 pages I signed. So we went step by step into the process, and then they asked if no, first they noticed that my board acceptance letter was not scanned in, which I was like, well, I just did it Thursday, and I know someone else that signed their contract yesterday, so why the hell isn't it scanned in? They made me go outside and wait until they figured it out. It just so happened that it ended up being in that person's file. I guess they put all of the people that boarded that day in that file, so they found it in her file and found it. And so I went back in, went through the process, and then they asked, do you have any tattoos? And I'm like, yes, I filled this out in the medical. Why are you asking me if I have any tattoos? I'm like, okay, I have like this tattoo, and then I have this tattoo on my wrist. I'm gonna show you guys. It says hope. It's like a little dove, but it's like right there, close to my hand. So they're like, did you do a tattoo review? And I was like, no. And I'm like, why do you need a tattoo review? And they said, well, that needs to be approved by the battalion. So if it was something like around here and below, it would have probably been approved at the company level, which is like my recruiting station. But since it is so close to my hand, because you're not supposed to have any tattoos from your hands up, they needed some sort of tattoo review and approval from the company level. At this point, she told me that there were 35 minutes left until the day was done, and worst thing that could happen was for me to be considered a holdover, go back to the hotel, come back the next morning, and enlist. In my mind, I was like, wow, I came here for like nothing. But it all got sorted out. Thank goodness that I have really amazing people at MEPS that know me and were working with me, and they got that thing approved in like 30 minutes. So it was really running it close. As soon as they got that approval, along with my statement as to what it means to me, I went back to sign my contract. But the process is a little different. You don't just sign your contract and then that's it, you're done. You go in and then they print out, you know, your form, which is like all your basic information. They ask if it's correct. Then you go to the control desk. They tell you need to do phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is an interview just to ensure that everything is correct, all your information is correct. Phase 2 is fingerprints, so they do fingerprints. And then once you're done with phase 2, you go back to the Army office, to the Army liaison's office, turn in your paperwork, and then you go back to the control desk to where you wait to swear in. Now this process took about an hour because, again, I did wait for that first interview on phase 1, and I did wait for the second part of phase 2. And then I went to go sit in the chair with everybody else to swear in. My husband had gotten there at 11 to wait to watch me swear in, and he waited all the way until 4 o'clock in the afternoon when I finally sat my butt in that chair to wait to go swear in. So I'm so grateful for my husband, because he wouldn't wait for anything else. But I mean, obviously this doesn't happen every day, so I'm just very, very freaking grateful that he waited there for me. But it was a long day. He waited for 6 hours. So my parents actually made it as well to watch me swear in. So we went to the briefing room, and then we walked into the room with other applicants from other branches, and we swore in. And those who had family members like myself, I got a chance to take pictures afterwards. And then after that, you go back to the briefing room, you make sure all your information is correct. They will ensure that your information is correct about 30 times before you walk out of there. So there's like no excuses for any kind of information to be wrong. There's also no excuses as to what your contract is, because they do go over it. They're like, are you sure that this is your job? Look, this is your ship date. Do you confirm that this is your ship date? This and that. So they do confirm everything. So when people say that they didn't know that this was on their contract or this and that, honestly, I think they're lying, because they really do go over it like a million times. It's kind of redundant. So after I swore in, went back out to the control desk. They gave me a copy of some paperwork, and then they made another copy for me to turn back to the Army liaison's office. Went to the Army liaison's office, gave them the paperwork. They gave me a book bag, and then my orders of when I ship out. And like I said, longest day ever. I got out of there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. After getting there at 6 o'clock in the morning, after waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and not really having a good sleep, because my roommate thought it was a great idea to go throughout her whole contact list and FaceTime them and say goodbye to everyone when we were supposed to be sleeping. So yeah, it's just a little vent out about that. I didn't get a good enough sleep, but whatever, I guess I'll have to get used to it. Yeah, it was a long day, but the details are I leave July 23rd. Now, the person doing my contract was really pushing for me to leave on May 21st, but I told her that I had a prior engagement in that time frame, and I cannot. So just make sure whoever you talk to just really negotiate with them, because they will try to just go through the process as fast as they could with all the information that they have. And if you don't speak up, they will bypass everything and just go with what they're gonna. I mean, they're just gonna tell you how to do things and when to go and where to go and everything. And just speak up and don't be scared, because at the end of the day, this is your life and this is your next 4 to 6 years. So yes, I leave to basic on July 23rd, and obviously that's 9 weeks at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And then on October 7th, I will start OCS, and that will be in Fort Benning, Georgia. So yeah, I have about 5 months until I start this whole process. But that's it. It's official. I'm in the dep, and I'm just gonna, work on myself, work on my running, work on just trying to be in the best shape I can be for basic. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm excited. I'm tired as hell, but super excited. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. This is probably one of my longest videos. It was a freaking long day, but I just kind of wanted to let you know how my process went when I went to go enlist. So yeah, I hope this video helps any of you guys, and I'm recording this video in my parking lot, so that's probably why you see a bunch of lights. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just put them in the comment section below, and I will see you later.